Howdy, folks. This is War and Marriage, a podcast about miniature war games. I am Teri, and this is Nathan.
I like the uncertainty there, where you're like, wait, what was my husband's name again?
Yeah. I mean, when you're 6th or 7th in line, they all just kind of blend together. They all look the same.
Listen, of all of your husbands, I am your favorite living one.
Mysterious circumstances. You know, everyone gets sick,
right?
Has heart attacks, you know. I have no Russian connections. I have 0 connections to Russia. Today we are going to be discussing the most eligible Primarchs of the 31st millennium?
I guess.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I think that works, because, like, trying to take a snapshot of them in the 40th. There's the most eligible is, like, how many of them are alive still? Like, or...
Yeah, in terms of alive, not demon, we're at 2.
You have, like... But
one's in hiding, so...
One's in hiding, and one is Sleeping Beauty.
No, he got better.
He got better. Oh, that's right, he got better.
He's not quite dead yet.
Man, the lore is changing. We spent 10 years where it was kind of frozen, so...
Yeah, I mean, I remember when they froze it, right? You know, with the Eye of Terror, there was some serious consequences, including Eldrad sacrificing himself heroically. And then they released a new Eldar Codex, and they're like, no, man, we already have an Eldrad model, so here are Eldrad's rules. By the way, the fluff will never move forward. And it's been like 10 years like that. So now to see the universe rolling forward...
That's interesting. It's interesting. So
it unsettles me.
If you aren't aware, we're going to be talking about Warhammer 40,000 and the lore of that universe. If you are not familiar with it, maybe you should just stop now, because honestly, we're going to get really, really geeky about this stuff. And we're going to go. This is going to be a lot of headcanon and a lot of stuff, because we're going to be talking about the Primarchs. And I've had this discussion with you a little bit about, like, if I was allowed to have Primarchs on my list, a list of people who
it's not cheating. If you hook up with them, yeah.
Yeah, it's not cheating if you hook up with these fictional characters. Then what would that list look like? And so we've had some you know, I've had some fun thoughts about that as well. The idea is, like, if I get really geeky about this lore, and really weird about it, and I think that's the other thing, is I look at the universe of Warhammer 40k in a light that entertains me, right? So don't expect us to treat it super reverently, because we love it, but because we love it, we're going to play with it a little bit here. So yeah, that is your warning. If you're going to be bored by us geeking out, you might want to just stop. Maybe we'll talk about something more fun in a future episode for you.
What, more fun than which Primarch is on your list? Come on now. There's no such topic.
There's no such topic. Maybe. I don't know. Again, if you're not into 40k, you probably don't give 2 shits. Let's be perfectly honest. So we are gonna start with, I don't know, I think it feels weird to talk about them, you know, by their legion number. I think grouping them might work a little bit better. Like, talking about, I'm gonna start with, like, let's start with, like, the middle of the road guys. The guys who aren't, like, total no's. But, like, you know, if you're in a better place in your life and you're feeling really good and you feel like you're a 9 and he's like a 6, you know, you be dating down, but on days where you feel like a 4, that's going up. Because there's 18 of them, 19 if you count the twins, or together. Do you count them as 1 or 2?
Well, I know that with, like, Legion counting, they count them as 1, but I'm just saying that, you know, there's no other Primarch where spit roasting is a possibility.
Well, we should have warned about the crudeness of this episode.
Oh yeah, this is gonna get crude.
This is probably
Sorry.
gonna get really crude. It's okay, I like barbecue. the idea...
It's like donair meat.
But, like, okay, if you're gonna date Alfarius, let's start with them. Let's talk about them. If you're gonna date Alfarius, is there really a difference between dating Alfarius and Omegon?
No, there probably isn't. Like, here's the thing, though. They constantly treat everything as secrets and lies. So, I mean, like, let's get out of the gates. And, you said middle of the pack. But Alfarius is straight up probably, like, one of the worst choices here.
Really?
Absolutely. Because, like, first of all, the Alpha Legion are, like, the Gestapo. This is their purpose. So, these are already, like, the secret police that are suspicious of everything. So, if you want privacy, goodbye. No. He has a keylogger on your phone. He knows every message you've ever sent. And that's not even getting into the factual bits of how Alfarius and Omegon constantly impersonate each other, and every now and then just get Johnny Marine to impersonate them. So when you're going out, whom are you going out with? Is it actually Alfarius? Because there's better odds that it isn't.
It's better odds that... But, okay, so here's why, for me, it's a bit of a... Like, you are risking the fact that you could be dating basically an entire legion of Marines, which, as a prospect, I don't know, that's like dating the entire football team, right? Like, multiplied by, like, an entire nation's worth of football team.
Yeah.
There's a lot of them.
It's like dating every member of the NCAA, like, freaking football program. Like, it's just...
Everyone.
It's a lot of people that could potentially be there just saying they're, I am Alfarius.
But... because of that, there is no excuse for him not to text you back.
Mm-hmm.
For him to be like, I'm sorry, listen, I'm not free on that day.
You are correct. Somebody will text you back.
Somebody will
and somebody will be at your door to pick you up if you're going the Alfarius route.
Absolutely. So that's not totally, again, on days where you feel like a 4, that's like a 6, right? It's very reaffirming to always have someone, to always have the knowledge that someone cares enough to be monitoring your life. Right?
So what I'm hearing is good fling, bad boyfriend material.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of those though. There is so many Primarchs who are good fling, bad like boyfriend material, super bad boyfriend material. Like, Jagged Khan. Like, come on, he's got a bike. He seems like a guy who'd be really fun.
Mm-hmm.
But
he'll pick you up whenever.
He'll pick you up whenever. He's gonna be late. Like,
I'm gonna be there on Tuesday. When I get there.
Which Tuesday?
Thanks. Yeah, which Tuesday?
Thanks. Yeah, like the Jagged Icon, but like it's when you do go out, it's gonna be super fun. You're gonna have a good time. It's gonna be an enjoyable fling, right? It's not something that you would you want as like that relationship material, and that's fine. Like there are times where you don't want that, or maybe you're in a place like you want to be kind of freer, and you want to have like a looser structure to who you see and what.
Oh yeah, because he is never going exclusive.
He's never going to go exclusive. And
he's never going to pry. Like,
but he's never going to be jealous either.
No, he's never.
Not. He's not the Primarch who would be a jealous boyfriend, and there are a lot of other Primarchs who would be very jealous. Like I wouldn't think of Jagged-Eye as that kind of boyfriend. I think that when it comes to like, do you want a pretty boy, right? Like, so when I think of like Sanguinius would be a really pretty boyfriend, right? Like, he's super pretty, and like
total Instagram boyfriend.
He's totally an Instagram boyfriend.
You want him in all of your pictures.
Yeah,
because
except if you're the Black Library, when you paint a portrait of like that epic Emperor and Horus image, the new one they did up like earlier this year, where they were like, they had the picture of them together, and I made a joke about how, like, Sanguinius is in the picture, and all you see is the feathers on the bottom coming up, floating in the air.
It's the new Black Library filter.
It's the new Black Library filter. Ouch.
For your Instagram photos, we can add a dead Sanguinius to everything.
I want that filter now. I'm gonna make one on Facebook. There we go. If you want it on Facebook, it's a filter there.
But yeah, I mean, like, listen, Sanguinius is pretty. You know, he's down at the Y 365.
Yeah.
You know, you never have to worry about, like...
Okay, so he also hits, like, a couple, like, really attractive points for a lot of people if you're into that specific thing. So, like, I was a comic book reading younger girl, so obviously, like, that Lois Lane fantasy, like, flying thing, that's cool. Super cool. Super attractive.
He can show you the world.
He can show you the world. But also, like, if you're younger, like, the younger generation now, super into Twilight. So that's kind of a thing, too. Like, he totally has
I bet his moisturizing cream sparkles in the sunlight, too.
You freaking know!
You know, like, his skincare is on point.
Like, so, for me, when I think of Sanguinius, he's totally, like, he's dateable the way that the girls would, like, hang posters of Robert Pattinson. Stalking them in the bedroom, and like the Edward Cullen shadow wall decal. That girl's super creepy, but like girls loved it, I guess. So that might be a thing,
I wish a boy loved me enough to stalk me.
No, that's not healthy. Not healthy at all. And I mean, I think that, like, and you know, I think that Sanguinius is he's really great if you want to look really great on social media, right? Like, totally like the modern style.
Hashtag blast.
Hashtag blessed. Hashtag my hero, my martyr. Oh my gosh. That's bad.
Yeah, we can have some fun with that. But let's go on the exact opposite side, because, you know, great Instagram boyfriend, but let's go to not a good Instagram boyfriend and demanding of lifestyle changes, and let's talk about Lorgar. Because you know that Lorgar is taking you to church every week,
and
if
God.
you know,
you have to convert.
You have to convert. You have to go there. The only position is missionary. Like, you know.
My God. That way boring.
Yeah, but like, reliable.
Reliable.
He will literally worship you and the ground that you walk on. So I mean, like, you know, you need that confidence boost, and you don't mind going to church. Maybe Lorgar's your man. But you know, it's not going to be exciting or Instagrammable. Like, that's the relationship that, like, you know, you introduce Lorgar to your parents because you're not ashamed, and they'll just be like, oh, you know, he's really good for her. She stopped going to the bars every night. Like, you know, like, your parents like Lorgar, and maybe you need that stability because you just, you know, you got dumped by Jagged Eye, and you need someone that'll be there.
Yeah, you know, that's true. Like, but I don't know if I could put up with scripture quotes like all the time. Like, you know, like, it's not just that he he'd wear the t-shirts with them, but like, he decorates his armor with.
It's worse than that. Remember, the scripture that he is quoting is the Book of Lorgar, which means that anything he says to you, he can just be like, it's in the Bible, and then he can quickly write it down and win every argument.
Oh, that would be horrible. That sounds
awful.
Just awful.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's just like, mediocre. Like, there is some good, there is some bad, but, like, you know, we're not into, like, the great top-notch Primarch quality, but we're also not in, like, the garbage quality yet.
Garbage quality yet. I mean, like, okay, so if you're interested in having, like, that toxic stalker boyfriend relationship, you know, a la Edward Cullen, like, Night Haunter is
and, like, listen,
that's a loaded, like,
listen, I say this as someone who absolutely loves Aaron Dembski Bowden's Night Lords trilogy. They are my favorite 30k Legion, and straight up, if Night Haunter asks you out,
you say no.
And then hope he doesn't murder you and wear your skin. Like, this is the problem. Like, it's just like, there really is no redeeming quality. He could touch you and just be like, do you want to know how you're gonna die? And you'd be like, no? Yes? Should I want to know this?
That is like, that would be his pickup line. That would be the best. That would be his pickup line.
After he steps out of the shadows and startles you, you're like walking home alone on your own, and then he's just gonna like step out in front of you, or probably behind you, and be like, do you want to know how you're gonna die? And you're just, right now, like this. It's like my life just flashed. Like, not great.
It's one of those things where I think that, like, the problem is, if he asks you out, we say you should say no.
However, if you're in that position, you say yes and wait for him to get bored of you and to dump you.
Yeah.
Like, you need to be the clingy girlfriend because, like, you know, he rules through fear. So it's not like one of those things where, you know, saying no or is positive to your health. You want him to dump you. You want him to think it's his idea.
Yeah. Like, I mean, okay, so, yeah, you want... You can't get out of that. Otherwise, like, that's the problem. That's a whole other can of worms, though. Like, what happens if you're not interested in the Primarch, but they're interested in you? How do you deal with that? That's a, like,
Tune in next week.
Tune in next week.
Where we'll have Primarch letdown line.
Primarch letdown line. Well, okay, so let's say, you know, you're in rebound mode. Like, you want someone to make you feel really good, like, wanted, but, like, this isn't someone you want to, like, stay with, because there are character flaws that are really hard to overcome in a relationship. Like, I think of Vulcan. Like, you know, because, you know, there's compassion there.
Yeah.
And he's like, it's great, but at the same time...
You will never stay up at night worrying if he got killed and is never coming home, because he is a perpetual... Spoilers, by the way. I mean, this should be obvious. By now. You know, he can't die. So you never have to worry about, like, that, where you're just like, oh my god, there was a car wreck, I thought it was you. And you can be like, yeah, it was, I'm good.
I'm good.
And be like, all right, okay.
Okay.
But yeah, you know, he's super compassionate, but like for me, it's that weird cutting thing he does where it just, you know, before battle, he has the chaplains or fire drake priest, whatever the hell they call them, but he has the chaplain start carving in his flesh.
Yeah,
you know, all of these things, so that way when he's fighting, he can feel the wounds as he, like, swings his hammer and stuff. Like, that's just got, like, that's some deep-seated daddy issues he's got to talk out. And you want... I mean, let's be real, they all have deep-seated daddy issues.
In some form, okay? Like, there are absolutely I
never knew my mother.
Oh god. Okay, so who is the worst one today? The bottom of the list for you. We'll say
okay, bottom of the list for me has to be Mortarion.
Okay.
Okay. And it's not just hygiene related. I mean, that is a big part of it. Like, you know, when your dude won't wash his clothes or bathe so he doesn't smell, you can't really be seen in public with this.
What does the inside of Mortarion's armor smell like?
Oh, Jesus. Like, just like...
Gross.
Just like swass.
Just swass? But it's everywhere.
He has the mouth breather that just, like, circulates the swass straight in it. But, like, what makes it worse for me, because like I said, it's not just the hygiene, is that, like, Mortarion thinks he's genuinely the best. So not only is this guy just smell bad, never cleans up or anything, he has this overinflated sense of self-worth where it's just like, no, I should have been War Master and I can be Emperor and I can take over all of these things because I'm the biggest and the strongest. And you're the smelliest, dude.
I think that's the worst part, is I think it's easy to point out Mortarion because it's like Dolores Umbridge. We've all had a really shitty teacher. We have all met that wargamer who thinks he should be the best, who has, like, this overinflated sense of his skill and ability, whose hygiene is highly questionable, and he's just not likable.
Yeah.
Like, he's just not likable.
I don't think I've ever been to a tournament where that guy is not there.
The Mortarion.
Where Mortarion is not repping.
Oh my god.
Yeah, you know, so I think, like,
and you know he's got, like, you know, when you go exclusive with someone, it's like, okay, hey, you know, we're gonna be, you know, fluid sharing, let's go to the doctor and get clean bills of health.
Right.
Like, he has everything.
He
sorry.
is not getting that clean bill of health.
Like you wave to him and all of a sudden you have chlamydia. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Like,
right?
Like,
His pickup line is, do you want chlamydia?
Do you want oh my god. Oh.
If you give me the clap, I'll give you the clap.
Oh.
Holy shit. Like,
that's horrible.
Yeah, so I mean, like, for me it's gotta be Mortarion, because, like, you know what?
Nurgle doesn't choose you out of the blue. Okay? I think that's the lesson we all know. Nobody
or nobody says yes to Nurgle unless they're already 1 foot in that pool. Like,
yeah.
You know?
You're like waist deep already.
You know, like, freaking Nurgle goes to Fulgrim and is just like, worship me and I shall make you a carrier of disease and pustules. He'd be like, nah, brah.
Nah, brah. Yeah, like, no, that's a no. I mean,
but Mortarion's just like, yai.
I mean, okay, so, like, but I think yeah, like, Mortarion, the blessings of Nurgle are, like, you know, I understand it, like, from a logic standpoint, right? Why does Nurgle save? Well, you know, when you think of, like, where does penicillin come from? And, like, how did that get... Like, that's totally Nurgle thing, right? Like, that all makes sense to me. But, like, you're not in the most attractive place in your life when you're deciding that Nurgle is the one for you. Nurgle has the answers that you are seeking.
Alright, what about you? What's your rock bottom? Who is the worst?
Mortarion... Like, okay, so if it's... Like I said, there are situations where you think, Nurgle, there are times when you think Nurgle has the answer for you. I don't think there is any time in my life where I would be like, you know who I need in my life? Angron. I need Angron in my life. Angron is the one who can see into my soul and be the person I need. Nobody needs Angron in their life.
I mean, what if you're just really into choke sex? Like, I feel like Angron is going to be able to deliver on that better than
bloodless.
most.
Okay, so, like, Angron, there's, like, maybe 5 days a month where a woman could call Angron. Like,
yeah, but you can also call Sanguinius on those same days.
Yeah, like,
and he'll treat you better.
He'll treat you better. But, like, there are other Primarchs who have rage issues that you could have angry sex with and be okay.
You know what? That's a good point. Angron, yeah.
Yeah.
Angron's got issues.
Angron has issues. And I love the World Eaters. I do. I adore them. But when it comes to dateability, they are not. They're not. Nobody's like, yeah, those guys, they seem like relationship material.
Alright, so, I mean, like, these are kind of obvious. I want to throw a left curve, like, horrible, absolute, like, one of the garbage ones, but instead of, like, yeah, this one literally swims in pus. Lionel Johnson. Alright, now, hear me out.
Okay,
hear me out.
Okay.
Hear me out on the Lion. The Lion is super fucking jealous.
Yeah.
He is
possessive.
Mm-hmm. He is vindictive. Mm-hmm. Because the whole Dark Angel schism, again, spoilers, you guys. The whole Dark Angel schism, I kid you not, started with Horus needed some extra troops, so he called up Luther and was just like, hey, Luther, bring yo Dark Angels. Let's go smash these traitors, these heretics. And then Lion came up and is just like, you don't work for Horus! And then banished them to Caliban.
Yeah.
Forever. So, like, this is a jealous guy. This is a vindictive guy. He is petty. He is small. And to top it all off, he thinks he's better than everyone.
It's like the arrogant...
Yeah.
Like,
so
totally
just, like,
toxic.
Super arrogant. Just every toxic trait wrapped up into one. So sure, Lionel Johnson is not going to give you chlamydia, and he's not going to punch you to death.
But he might, though. Like, he might, like, he's the kind of boyfriend who would give you the silent treatment.
But that's exactly it. It's just like,
horribleness.
He won't physically beat you like Angron, but he will mentally torment you.
Yeah.
Over every perceived slight. So, like, that's why for me, I'm just like, nah, man, the Lion is so far down that list because everything about him is toxic.
So, bottom 3, it's like Angron, Mortarion, and also, like, I mean,
listen, the Night Haunter belongs at the bottom if we're going, like, bottom 5. We literally straight up said,
yeah, no.
Do not say yes. Do not pursue the Night Haunter, no matter how edgy you think it is, or how much you think you can change him. You fucking can't.
Okay, so, I would, like you mentioned Fulgrim earlier.
Yeah.
And when I think of Emperor's Children and the kind of, when I think of them as a legion, I think of a legion of fuckboys. like,
listen, I didn't realize you could pop the collar on power armor until the Emperor's Children were around, because they've all got popped collars and sunglasses, and they smell of Axe body spray.
Oh,
like
they totally do.
That is the Emperor's Children Legion.
Oh my god, they would absolutely do. But like, I mean, they're not, like, Fulgrim wouldn't necessarily be a bad boyfriend. Like, when you think of, like, a worshipper of Slanesh, that's fun. That seems like fun. But you, like, it's a fun phase, right? This is not the guy you're like, you don't want to take him home.
No.
He'll have cocaine on the top lip when he shows up at the door to meet your parents. Like, it's just gonna
He'll try to bang your mom and your dad.
Oh my god, totally.
Like, there are some fucking problems. However,
there are problems.
You go out for a night on the town,
Mm-hmm.
you want to be seen with Fulgrim. He is pretty.
He is very, very pretty. Like, Instagrammable, totally. Mm-hmm. Except, again, it's like, fuckboy Instagrammable.
Right?
Like, not like, there's a certain angelic quality to Sanguinius, probably because of the wings.
Yeah.
And the prettiness.
The angel wings,
The angel wings, yes. Whereas, like, no, like, you don't have that when you, it's like dating a super pretty anime fan. Like, that bleach blonde, like, freaking hair, like, that whole look, right? Like, you wear it all together, super ostentatious colors, like, he shimmers, like, he would wear a gold, like, a purple lame suit, unironically.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. That's his nightclub outfit every time, because people will see him when he shows up in the lights, and you know he can dance.
Oh, hell yeah.
Like,
he's the best dancer in that club.
Yeah.
He's gonna put you to shame.
He's gonna put you to shame, right? Like, so like, it'll look weird, like, but if you go to, like, the right club with the right music, it's great. Like, it's gonna be a fun time. So there's, like, obviously good and bad with that. But I don't know. It's not a bad time.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the big kind of thing when it comes to dating Fulgrim. He's not an immediate no. Like, even when you're feeling like an 8, he might be a fun time. I think that, like,
but he is a 10. He is always a 10.
He's always gonna be a 10. It doesn't matter.
Fuckboy 10, but a 10.
10. Oh my god. That's horrible. Who's on that list for you? Like that level for you?
Like what? Like what do you mean by that?
Like, same tier as Fulgrim, like, obviously not, like Fulgrim's there with, like, Jagged Eye, with Sanguinius, like...
Perturabo.
Okay.
Perturabo makes that...
everything in your house.
Yeah, first of all, he will fix fucking everything in your house. Second of all, you know that you are getting, for every Valentine's Day, birthday, and Christmas, you are getting a beautiful, ornate, handmade gift.
Yeah.
Every single time. And this is a guy who,
You want to renovate your house, man.
Yeah, you want to renovate your house. He'll do it all for you, and he'll do it faster and cheaper than anyone thought possible. But even beyond that, like, there's no ego there.
Yeah.
So it's just like, you know, he you know, him and his Iron Warriors, they're passed up over and over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
And he's all just like, sure, you want me to go fix that? All right, I'll go do that. And so it's just like, for me, Perturabo's kind of up there. He may, you know, he's not pretty like Fulgrim, but he is reliable and he is thoughtful.
And he's just happy you're paying attention to him.
Oh my god, he would be so happy you're paying attention to him.
Like, that would be that. Yeah, no, legit. That's 100%
so yeah,
legit.
like that's why, because like, you know, not like top quality, but you can't go wrong with Perturabo.
You can't. No, you can't. You know what? Actually, I almost think that's like a better, because like that quality is like relationship material. Like that's
yeah, that's the long-term relationship. And like, he would make a long-term work. Like, you know that he would put in the work.
He would put in the work. And
to make sure that shit happens. So that's why for me, I'm just like, nah, you know what? Perturabo is like top quality.
Top quality, okay. What would Perturabo's pickup line be? Hey, I know you met me like 20 years ago, but I built this house for you.
Yeah, it's literally The Notebook.
It's literal The Notebook. Except he doesn't look like Ryan Gosling. Oh no. Oh man. Okay.
I built you your dream house.
Built you your dream house. Yeah, it's his pickup line. Oh my god. Oh. Okay.
Know. Comes off a little strong. That's all we're saying. Well-meaning, just a little comes off strong.
Just a little strong. But I don't know. He doesn't come off as overly emotional though, right? Like I wouldn't necessarily think that he's not as fragile as some of the other Primarchs would be, right? You know, like Lionel, probably extremely fragile.
Oh yeah.
Like,
all right, listen.
If we walk on glass.
Yeah, we're talking about fragile. Let's talk about my boy Ferrus Manus. And the reason I say my boy is I have had an Iron Hands army in the past. I'm still tempted to do them up for 30k because they have a soft spot in my heart. But Ferrus Manus is a shitty person. Like, this is a guy, you know, he is logical, he is cold, he is calculating, but you have to be on eggshells all the time because anything will set him off, and when you set him off, he fucking explodes. Like, wreck wall, like Kylo Ren. Like, really.
Kylo Ren!
Like frickin' Ferrus Manus in the Primarch series actually has a tantrum like that where he smashes up a room because someone pissed him off. Like, this is the kind of guy that he is. So for like all of the greatness, like he creates these masterful artifacts, not as nicely as Perturabo does. Don't tell that to his face or he'll break your house down. You know, but it's just like, there is such a, like, undercurrent of just fucking explosive volcanic anger. And so it's just like, you never want to set that off because you know he'll beat you. You know he'll wreck your shit. You know he's going to throw things at you. And, like, that's why it's just like, ugh, Ferrus, buddy.
Okay. So, when I think about the, like, top tier Primarchs.
All right.
Well, are there ones that you want to talk about before we get to, like, the creme de la creme?
Listen, I can rag on Corax all day because fuck that emo bitch.
One, Corax could also do that Lois Lane thing that I said earlier, though.
So yeah, but so could the Night Haunter.
So could the Night Haunter.
So is that a plus in the Night Haunter category?
So could Mortarion when he's hit his Demon form.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, fair.
He's even moist in demon form. It's all pus, though.
It's all pus.
No, but like you said, Corax is, again, one of these overinflated senses of self-worth, right? So, on Istvan 5, the Massacre, here he is getting shit kicked by the Night Haunter. Night Haunter's about to kill him, and then he literally just hits his jetpack, starts crying, and flies away. And then later in that same book, I kid you not, he's always just like, oh, I always thought that, like, if I ever fought with the Night Haunter, I'd kill him. I must have just been so emotional, but because I'd definitely kill him if we fought and it was fair. And you're just like, He was literally about to murder you. Like,
But,
you were
okay.
so outclassed in this fight.
But, okay, so a guy...
And then he probably went and turned on the Linkin Park and started cutting his wrists.
I'm not going
while
to...
putting on the guy liner.
I'm not gonna hate on a guy who's, like, got a sensitive side. That's not a bad thing inherently, right?
No.
The fact that he can't recognize reality because of... Like, the fact that he's rewriting history in his head, like, that's the problem. That's the thing that is a red flag to anyone who would want to date him. But, you know, it's not... I wouldn't say that he is...
Listen, he's gonna take you to the great emo clubs.
Listen.
He's gonna have better eyeliner than you. Accept it. Move on. If you're okay with all that, if that's what you want them Nancy boys.
Nancy... What? Listen, there is something about, like,
his
that...
hair is nicer than yours. His makeup is nicer. If you're okay with it.
The sensitive soul is not a bad thing. That's all I'm saying. It's just, like, you know, there's obviously some maturing that needs to happen, and it doesn't really happen.
Yeah, because everything, like, post Istvan. And again, keep in mind, the Raven Guard, along with the Sallies and the Iron Hands, they got massacred at Istvan.
Yeah.
He just goes off and pouts in his room. Every single time there's any bit of, like, frickin' friction,
if he has hardship,
or there's any hardship, he just goes off to pout. And that's why it's just like, nah, Korax is just so... just it's not good.
Like, do you want to date a 16-year-old boy?
Forever.
Forever. No,
that doesn't sound
I'd rather
great.
call it Fulgrim.
Yeah,
good
right?
Partying, good dancing.
Or Sanguinius, man. Let's get that Instagram post. # blessed.
But
alright, let's talk about actual good ones then.
Horus.
Yeah?
Horus! Like, okay, so... Horus...
Alright, we're talking, like, pre-corrupted by chaos and commander of demonic powers Horus, right? We're talking, like, this on the spectrum.
The core character of Horus, right? Like, he's ambitious.
Mm-hmm.
He is, like, he
is thorough.
He's thorough.
You know he is going to make sure that you are left spent.
He is... Okay. He follows through. He's committed. Like, these are good qualities. He's also, like, he's demonstrably a good father.
Dude, and charming. You can bring him to your parents and they're gonna end up really liking him.
They'll see his point of view. Like, it's like, he was the best of them.
Yeah, literally.
Literally.
He was literally the best of them, which is why he became War Master. Yeah, no, listen.
He is top tier.
Horus is top tier, but I'm gonna go unpopular opinion top tier. Big Bobby G, Rowboat Guilliman of the Ultramoons.
Rowboat Guilliman.
Rowboat Girly Man.
Girly Man.
Alright, now listen. First things first, we're gonna get the elephant in the room when it comes to Big Bobby G.
We call him Big Bobby G.
He is boring.
He's boring.
He is never gonna be spontaneous. He is never going to surprise you. However, he has a calendar notification for every Tuesday at 1 p.m. to send you flowers. Because he is organized. He will do your taxes and find deductions that the accountants missed. He will never forget about you. You know, if you're ever just like, hey, I wanted to go out with the girls, he'd be like, yeah, I bet you'd have 11% more fun. Go, have fun.
11% more fun.
He's got it on lock.
He has calculations for everything.
Yeah, so it's just like...
he's got the variables. Oh, who's going out with you? Tina, Carol,
yeah,
Cindy. You should add in Missy into that mix, because that will increase your enjoyment by about 17%.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
You know, he will never be jealous. He will never forget a birthday or an anniversary.
Never.
Like, you know, he is going to be there 100% of the time. And whereas your parents might leave from dinner with Horus just being like, he's really nice, I like him. When Big Bobby G walks out the door and be like, you need to put a ring on that because he will take care of you your entire life.
He will, though. But, like, the worst, like, if you're the kind of person who tracks your menstrual cycle on an app. You don't need that app anymore if you date.
Because he will track it for you and
for
ensure that the box of or like the chocolate mint ice cream that you need with cookie dough arrives the day before you need it.
The day before you need it.
He knows.
He knows. He'll organize everything in your life, but you just have to accept the fact that there's going to be no spontaneity.
Yes.
And it depends on what you define romantic as, right? I'm not a fan of surprises. Like, I don't like being surprised, right? So, like, if you're interested in, you know, I don't know, you want to send him some sexy photos, like, out of the blue. Like, I think that would stress him the fuck out if he felt suddenly... Oh, he's got backups ready.
He's already planned for that. He's just like, oh, she sent me sexy pictures. All right, let's just flip to this page, and this is how I respond.
I've already got these pictures.
He has already planned for that possibility.
Oh my god.
This is the thing that you have to understand with Big Bobby G. He will never treat you bad.
He will never.
But he will never be spontaneous, and nothing will ever surprise him.
Yeah.
And if you're okay with that, if you want a stable life where, you know, you can do what you want, like, he is perfect stability.
Like,
he's the opposite of Jagged Icon in every single way.
Yeah.
When he says, I will arrive at, Tuesday night at 7:01 p.m., he will be there at precisely 7:01 p.m. There is no wiggle room. He will not be 10 seconds late.
What would happen, though, if you took longer to get ready? And Big Bobby G was waiting for you, and he already made the plans for that night? Like, could you imagine?
The first time it happened, it might take him by surprise, but after that, he'll just book the reservation for the amount of time that you spent, just later than that. So he'll be like, I will be there at 7. And instead of the 7:30 one, because you're going to take a half an hour, it'll be an 8 o'clock reservation. He'll just adapt. Adapt, overcome.
Adapt, overcome. The solving of the problem to him would be more exciting than buying new lingerie.
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
Like, absolutely. Like, I think that would be...
Could you imagine the dirty talk? Give me the production output of Ultramar. What if the weather affected it? Oh god, what if the weather affected it?
But like he would also like, okay, so like when we think of like long-term relationship guys, like you think about like Horus, I don't believe that when he named his legion from the Luna Wolves to like he didn't do that. I don't think that was a vanity thing for him. I think that was him embracing. Like all of these guys process their daddy issues in different ways. Maybe except for Robu, but we can talk about that. But like Horus, he's a good father, but I feel like if you had babies with Horus, he'd like George Foreman it and name them all Horus. like all
boys
of
or girls.
Boys
yeah,
or girls
I feel
are
like
all
they would
Horus.
all be Horus.
They'd all be Horus. Like that's how he would that's how he would do that. Like that like Bobby G would like have a list of baby names and he'd know your like fecundity, so he has precisely the right number of names if you were trying. Right? Like it's already planned. But like, I don't know if you would feel emotionally fulfilled by dating Robert Goldman. I don't think that is like, I don't think that registers. I don't know if that's a thing that he would consider as part of the economic kind of like procedural output value. Like you can't equate that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, like listen, if you need someone that is going to be warm and intimate with you, he can't do that.
He's not capable of it.
He's not capable of it. Alright, toss up, because I'm not sure if it's good or just neutral. Magnus the Red. So, on the one hand, he has the Emperor's glamour ability, so he can appear as anything you want him to look like.
Yeah.
Which,
he would look
definite pros, because he projects that, he glamours everyone who perceives him. So to everyone, he will be the most attractive, which is, definite pro. But super powerful psyker who can literally do anything with his brain, including see the future. Like, is this like a good thing or a bad thing?
That's a bad thing.
Yeah?
That is a... Listen, okay, so
being able to diffuse future fights by knowing what the issue is before it happens.
No, because I think that actually makes it worse.
Because it makes,
It makes it, like, when I think about the dateability of any of the Primarchs, I also have to factor in my own faults as a human, right? Like, I can't be with Jagadai, because, like, if I ever needed to go somewhere, I already skew towards late. We'll never get there. It'll never happen.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the impossibility of that relationship is as much due to my reality and the reality of dating me as it is anyone else. And so, like, when I think about dating someone who has this knowledge of, like, that is not...
Yeah, but take him to fucking trivia night.
Take him to trivia night? Oh,
you're gonna clean the fuck up. No one is beating Magnus at trivia night.
Oh, that would be so... Yeah, but, like, there's a certain point where it becomes, like, at that point you're dating him to take him to the casino and, like, pick your Keno numbers and do all that crazy shit.
Hey, Magnus, let's go to Vegas.
Let's go to Vegas.
Who's gonna win the Super Bowl?
Who's gonna win the Super Bowl? But, like, that's the thing, is, like, nobody, like, that stops being a relationship at that point, and that's like dating a computer.
That's like Rain Man at that point.
Like, yeah,
let's
like
go
Rain
beat
Man.
Vegas.
It's like Rain Man. Oh my god, yeah. Like, it's not... That is not a relationship anymore. Like, that defies the construct. If that's what you define as fun, is using your boyfriend's ability to clean house, and then what? Like, what was Magnus like in bed?
Well, he could probably go into your brain and make it whatever you wanted it to be, which, again, starts to get weird. Yeah, all right, I'm definitely on the, not good. But again, like, that's why I toss up. But yeah.
Listen,
He's not bad, don't get me wrong. He is not in the Mortarian Night Haunter Angron Lion camp.
I don't think there will ever be, and this is part of where I was going with the fact that, like, I have to recognize my own limitations as a human.
Mm-hmm.
Magnus dating me or anyone else would never be satisfying to him. What he wanted was love from his father. That will never happen. And so that taints every other relationship he will ever have.
Well, not to mention
ability,
that
right?
He'd be willing to break the law if he thought it was okay.
Yeah.
The Edict of Nicaea said, whatever you do, no more psychic powers. And he's like, I'll show you by not stopping. And then he ripped open a webway portal, allowing Terra to be invaded by demons and chaos. Because... Oopsie.
Yeah, but, like, that's a total rejection of who he is. Like, that edict was a complete rejection of... You cannot have a relationship with someone who is that emotionally damaged. And I actually think that, like, while there are emotionally stunted, and there's, like, guys who would be, like, the Primarchs who would be just, like emotionally abusive, Magnus himself is not in an emotional state to be in a relationship. There is no relationship he could have that would be fulfilling that isn't a positive relationship with his father. Like, and that taints everything else. He is incapable of it. And, when you're in a relationship, everyone's got to get something out of it, right?
So, if we're going to talk about, like, that kind of thing, because, like, really, we've talked about 16 of 18 so far. And you'll notice our mediocre pool is very big. Our bad pool is bigger than our good pool. But I'm going to toss out into the emotionally stunted and problematic Rogaldorn.
Oh, totally.
Because
egotistical.
So egotistical that if he got a participation certificate, he will frame it and mount it on the wall.
Oh, absolutely.
You know it, like how many banners in the fucking Imperial Fist's honors were, we were the last ones to the fight, we showed up, yay guys, what a glorious victory for the Imperial Fist. So super egotistical. His ego will matter more than you at all times. Mm-hmm. Also, he's got that Ferris Manus, some shit will just set him off. Yeah. But unlike Ferris, who will explode and break your house down, he will give you the cold shoulder and not talk to you. He'll give you the silent treatment. So it's just like, oh, Rogel, what's wrong? Nothing.
Just not capable of communicating. Mm-hmm. Not capable of... But, like, you know, I mean, when you're on the rebound, I think a dude who thinks he's the best...
and celebrates all of his meaningless accomplishments.
But he would be, like, I think that if he's associated with you, like, if you showed up from work and was like, hey, I'm Employee of the Week this week, he would frame that shit too. Like,
yeah,
that is a reflection of him,
right?
And you're being with him, like he would celebrate.
Yeah, listen, if you are low confidence, Rogeldorn will give you a boost for a bit, but don't put a ring on that.
Don't put a ring.
Don't for a second, because
it'll fade.
It will fade, and eventually, if you become too successful, he will become jealous of your success, because now it's no longer about, like, hey, we help each other. It's, how dare you overshadow me? And you know it's going to become toxic over time, because he doesn't communicate. I mean, for the love of God, when his first captain was just like, because, like, I think, like, he was having a conversation with Sigismund, his first captain. And Rogel was just like, no, an order is an order and you follow orders, and, you know, no matter what. And then Sigismund's like, but what if the order is bad? Like, if you're the first captain of, like, one of these traitor Primarchs and they order you to do something horrific, you should refuse that order. And he was just like, no, refusing orders is what caused the entire heresy. You're dead to me, but I'm not going to demote you because it's bad for morale, so I'm banishing you from Terra. You will never speak to me again. I kid you not, over a thought exercise, over a hypothetical... He straight up banished the first captain of his legion, who eventually goes on to make the Black Templars, because he got some fucking issues out of this.
All I'm hearing you say is there's going to be fights about whether the toilet seat is up or not.
All the time.
Absolutely. Like, you cannot...
Non-stop.
Like, it's not... It's... I think that's the thing, though, right? Like, if you want to fling, you're better off with a jagged eye. You're better off with...
No, let's talk about the best fling, because it's the only one we haven't talked about yet.
Okay, fine.
The best fling is Lehman fucking Russ.
Lehman fucking Russ. Yes, but he's not a fling, though, because, okay, Lehman Russ isn't a fling. Lehman Russ is good in every situation. You put a ring on it, you take him out. Like, Lehman Russ, like, Horus...
Lehman Russ will cut a bitch who said something bad about you.
Yeah, absolutely.
First of all,
he's always on your team. Always on your team.
He is loyal like a puppy.
Like a puppy dog. He's happy to see you, like a puppy dog. He's fun. He celebrates. He's joyous. He remembers the story of when you met. They've written a whole saga about it.
No, they don't write it. But he has made sure that the Skjalds will sing songs and tell the tales of how you met. Like... Forever. You are immortalized in his legion and himself.
Like, absolutely. Lehman Russ is the best in every situation. Like, you know...
But, and this is, you know, here I am asking the hard-hitting questions. Mm-hmm. Does he do any position other than doggy style?
Does it matter?
Bringing the class.
Like... Listen, if you had the right treats
and a clicker, you can train him.
You can train him to do anything. but I think that when it comes to the best boyfriend, the ones you want to bring to your parents, like Lehman Russ will score lower than Horus and Reboot on the parent, like,
likability
list. Okay, like, you know, he's not.
He'd be like that hobo.
You know, being a wolf, he's probably a little bit colorblind too. So it's like there's a little bit of that, and so like when he thinks his suit is really beautiful and like this gorgeous gray, it's actually like baby blue, and it looks really weird when you go out with him in that baby blue suit because it's not
throwing
the 80s
shade
anymore.
at Space Wolf's gray. I see
a little bit, but. It doesn't matter because he is the one who will take care of you. He's the one who is loyal. He's the one who is fun. He's the one, like, he's the right kind of guy in any situation you are in. You feel like a 4, you feel like an 8. Doesn't matter. You'll have a great time.
As long as you like going out to a bar and drinking, because that's really the only thing he's going to take you out to.
Okay, so like you got to think about which of the Primarchs
or pillaging.
Which of the Primarchs actually had moms? And, like, that will tell you.
You know, the only one we really know about is Big Bobby G.
Big Bobby G. And then Leman Russ had a wolf mom, too, right?
Oh, yeah, I guess he
had a wolf mom.
He was cared for by a wolf mom.
Yeah. So, like, these are guys.
Not Angron.
Not Angron. Oh, my God. Could you, like, you know, it's one of those things where I think that, like, because they were able to have, like, reasonably good fundamental relationships early on, they have fewer issues. They have fewer daddy issues, for sure. Like, Leman Russ's daddy issues manifested as, like, just unparalleled loyalty, but he executed. So, like, he was rewarded for that. So he didn't have the same issues that, like, Magnus has, right? And I think so that has an effect on his capability and his capacity to have other healthy relationships in his life. Same with, you know, Big Bobby G. He's capable of a healthy relationship. Horace, I would say he's capable of a healthy relationship. His satisfaction didn't end up coming from the Emperor. And that's okay. You know what?
And listen,
fuck that dude. Literally.
There was a centuries-long plot to turn Horus to chaos, okay? And, you know, it technically a millennia-long plot, because in order to forge the dagger that wounded him. But anyway, like, this plot was going on well before he was even conceived. So, barring some millennia-long plot, he would have never gone to chaos, because he is loyal and he is trying to do his best in everything. Yeah, so I mean, like, Horus is top notch.
Top notch, right? So like the guys who ended up on the top, most eligible.
So in other words, of the 18, we have 3 that you can't go wrong with. We have 4 that you can't go right with, and 11 that, I guess, depending on the time of year and how you're personally feeling,
like what your emotional state is and what you're capable of, like, accommodating for.
And what you need.
And what you need, right? Like, there are a lot of Primarchs out there who conceivably could give you what you need, right? Like, I mean, like, you know, again, like, Perturabo, mostly would be pretty good.
Perturabo's border for me. I really do feel like you can't go wrong with Perturabo.
Like, he's up there. He's nearly there, but it's just, like, he's not, if you're into that, it's perfect, right? Like, that's great. You know, you want him to paint your minis, man. You gotta shelf a shame. That's gotta get done. He'll do it. Like, that's great. That's what you want. And you can appreciate those things. That's what he wants. But then, like, the guys who end up on the bottom, they're totally, completely undateable. And so, yeah, that's kind of where we've landed. So, sort of, maybe Perturabo, Horus, Big Bobby G, and Leman Russ. I mean, okay. Yeah, no, every time I think about it, Leman Russ he's the dude. He's the dude.
He's the dude for you?
He's fun. He can be fun. He can be spontaneous.
And that's the thing.
He can be romantic.
Like,
he can be loyal. He can be all the things. You know, when you have a really great dog. Yeah, when you have a great dog, and it is everything you need. Yeah, sometimes, like, you know, he might tear up the couch, or like, you know, You hate waking up 5 a.m.
Oh, listen, you're going to vacuum a lot. He's going to shed.
He's going to shed. Yeah, that's
And
fine.
I can say this from, like, as a dude that's had a long beard and long hair. There's just fucking hair
Your
everywhere.
vegan friends are going to hate the fact that he wears fur everywhere. And, like, I think that of all the Primarchs, he most strongly, like...
But it's okay, you can tell them that no animals were harmed in the making of that fur. Because there are no wolves on Fenris.
There are no wolves on Fenris. Ooh.
Do not say that to him, though. He could kill you.
He could kill you. He could kill you. But, I mean, I think when you, like, drill down to it, right? Like, he's like the best friend. And, like, if you want that, that's perfect. That's what you kind of want if you want that long-term kind of relationship. And he's fun. Like, that's the other thing. I don't know how fun the long-term with Horus would be. And I know exactly how boring
the long-term Big Bobby G would be.
Like, it's one of those things where, like, you know, it's not the most exciting relationship, and it can get very stale very quick. It's hard to be in a relationship with someone who treats you like a routine, and that's what you are going to be treated like.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
And again, you know, there are some people that need that and that they crave that.
You need that, yeah.
And, you know, if that's what you need, is you need to know that there is someone that is as regular as a clock. Big Bobby G is there for you, and he will never say a bad word about you. Ever.
Have your back.
You know, and he has your back in everything, and he will never be jealous. So, like I said, there are some people that need that because they've already had a go with one of the
they've had their turn
with some of the more damaging ones psychologically. Like, hey, you know, you just broke up with the lion. Big Bobby G is what you need. I fucking assure you.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think that it's a fun exercise, right? The idea of, like, what would these guys be like as partners or boyfriends or emotional vampires. Maybe physical vampires.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we've got emotional and physical vampires on the list. I can't think of anything that would change my position on anything, but if you have reasons why we're wrong, and I think that would be really fun, like, let me know in the comments, let me know in responses. Social, this is gonna go up on YouTube as well, hopefully, if YouTube doesn't strike it because of the crudeness of the content. Yeah.
I will also put I'll enable comments so we can have those discussions there, because I think it'd be really, really funny to, like hear what you gotta say. Who is your dream date of Warhammer 30k? That is it for us. Thank you so much for listening. This was War and Marriage, a podcast where we geek out about war games, and I think we heartily geeked out. Now, let's go listen to some Linkin Park and think about Night Hunt.
No, that's Korax.
Oh, it's Korax. Oh, it is Korax. Yeah. I tried so hard
and got so far.
Oh God.
Yeah, that's us.
That's us. When we start singing, it's done. We're done. Thanks for listening. Until next time.
Cheers.